Hey guys, welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. Today I'm going to talk to you about a method of trellis gardening called Feng Shui trellis gardening. I'm going to be implementing this Feng Shui trellis gardening with my cucumbers that are doing really well. The vines are starting to go crazy and I'm going to help them go crazier in the direction in which they want, so that I'm going to have more and more robust cucumbers. Just kind of wanted to show you guys an update with our okra. Our okra is doing really well. If you've been following us for a while, then you know we started this stuff indoors before it was warm enough to plant outside. Then we transferred it. It's doing really well, and we like to keep our place clean. I'll point out the mess with the lumber here in the background is here because I've got a big project going on. One of our hens is sitting on some eggs, and we're getting ready to have a lot more chickens, we hope, knock on wood. And after we harvest this garden this year, we're going to convert this pen into a larger chicken coop because the soil here isn't as rich as the soil in our other garden. But with no further ado, I'm going to talk to you about Feng Shui trellis gardening, explain what it is, and show you how it works. I'm sure you've heard the term Feng Shui. It's very common. In case you don't know exactly what it is, Feng Shui is a Chinese pseudoscience. It deals with using energies to come into balance with your surroundings. To give you an example, if you think about martial arts, you know, the Western styles of fighting is all about power and strength, but a good martial artist knows he or she can use their opponent's current energies to kind of, let's say somebody throws a punch at you, instead of blocking it in American style, you just kind of step back and redirect their energy and they fall on the floor. That's an example of Feng Shui. Feng Shui can be used in business. It can be used, I use it in gardening. How can it be used in business? I'll give you a quick example. If you think back to the 1980s, and it's funny, I was looking at analytics last night on our YouTube channel. Our biggest segment of followers are people in America between the ages of 24 and 34. So guys, remember the Teletubby videos you used to watch or the Pokemon videos you used to watch? You might remember watching some of them in your early years on these big black bulky tapes called VHS tapes. So in the late 70s, early 1980s, there was like this technology war where all these companies were trying to take over the media entertainment market, and the media version at the time, of course, was the VHS tape. Sony, a Japanese company, ended up dominating that industry, and they still dominate a lot of the tech today. And here's why. Okay, the tape inside the VHS, when it would play, originally it kept jumping off track. And the Western engineers would say, okay, well, how can we force this tape to stay straight? Well, the Japanese engineers, having been more familiar with Feng Shui, they sat back and they watched the tape and they saw that the tape wanted to go sideways. So they said, okay, well, let's put a spool up here because this is where the tape wants to go. And then the tape went this way, and then they said, well, let's put a spool here. But the long and short of it is that they set the spools in such a way that the tape could flow the direction in which its energy wanted to go, and they made it all fit inside that little shell, and they therefore dominated the VHS market. So that's an example of using Feng Shui in business. You can use it in any aspect of life. I use it with my trellis gardening. I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to tell you why this works better. We have some cucumber vines here that are doing very well. Pepino is what my wife calls them, beautiful Filipina brides. Pepino is the term we used in the Philippines when we grew these. But I will start a simple trellis just to give my vines, and you can do it with cucumber, squash, any vegetable that vines out, just to give them a start so they have something to cling on to when they start coming up. But now once they've started coming up, honey, show them a good shot here. You can see they're kind of going in the direction in which they want. And back here behind me, I don't know, honey, if you can see this, you might want to step closer and give them a view here. We've got cucumber vines going this way. Now, the American in me just wants to say no and force these vines to grow on this trellis. But, you know, I try to learn from people that maybe know a little bit more than me about a lot of things. So years ago, I just started saying, okay, this is how this vine wants to grow. I'm going to let it grow this way. So this is my Feng Shui method of trellis gardening. I have vines coming out this way. I'm not going to force them to go up the trellis. They don't want to go up. I've tied my line down there at the bottom where it starts. And then I'm going to bring my twine out here, Use my handy dandy Leatherman. Cut off the length. And then if vine wants to come this way, fine, I'll let it come this way. I'll just tie my twine off right here. And now, of course, after we're done filming, come a little closer, hon. I'm gonna show them what I'm doing here. After I'm finished filming, I'll go through and I'll tie several lines. So this is gonna look like a chaotic mess. And here in a week or so, these vines are gonna have secured themselves to these lines with their little reachers or their suckers, which I'm gingerly separating from the weeds they've connected to here. And I'm just gonna train this vine to go over this. And as you know, the little suckers will not be grabbing the weeds anymore. They'll be grabbing the line and they're gonna climb up. So I'm gonna have them going in all directions. Now, here's the benefit to Feng Shui trellis gardening. I'm not constricting this vine and cutting off its circulation. You know, we made a video earlier in the spring about why you shouldn't tie down your daffodil foliage after your flowers have bloomed. Anytime you constrict any part of a plant, you're kind of cutting off its life system. These green plants, as you know, feed themselves through the process of photosynthesis. They absorb the sunlight during the day. They use a chemical called chlorophyll to produce their food at night. If you're training things in such ways to where they're becoming constricted, I'll use another analogy like I did with the Japanese engineers in the VHS tapes. Think about a runner, whether it's a jogger, a sprinter, or a marathon runner. Let's say you're out and you're jogging 3 miles in the morning and you tie something around your neck to constrict your breathing. Or are you going to be able to run as efficiently as you would if you were not constricted? And if you do that, I mean, too forcefully, obviously, I mean, you could die, right? So if you force your plants and your vines to go the direction in which you want them, I mean, hey, it might look great. You're going to have a very well uniformed garden. And I do this with our trees, things that kind of grow straight and true. We plant our trees in uniform fashion around our homestead for appearances, but when it comes to vines, I let them do what they want. So we have little baby cucumbers coming on here already. They're going to be so big and so full because the vines are able to breathe. They're able to produce their own food. They're able to live. They're benefiting from Feng Shui. So that's it, guys. It's that simple. If you enjoyed this video and if you learned something from it, please subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time for more here at Homesteading Off the Grid.